friends. Today, in the lecture series, we will be discussing population growth. Uh, it appears to be, it seems to be a very easy topic and known to the students as well as other community in the academia. Even if you ask a junior student at UG level or PG level first semester, second semester, they will be telling you how to calculate population growth. What is population growth? It is basically additional population that is added or the extra population that is added to the existing population. So usually we calculate population growth by taking population of the current year and we subtract the population of previous year and we divide the difference by the previous year and multiply by let's say 100 to express in percentage term. So this is known to all of you. Even if you are asking students about the components of population growth, they will be saying, well, it is the fertility, mortality, and migration. Those are the components, principal components of population growth. While saying so, there there are some problems which cropped up and which junior students particularly do not understand, and many of the even senior students and researchers are having little confusion. When you are talking about the population growth and you are saying that population, the components of population growth are fertility, mortality, and migration, then problem occurs. For example, you are talking about the old population growth. Even if you are taking migration in the context of global population growth, then there is no possibility that either in migration or out migration that is happening to the planet Earth. There is no possibility the people from our globe is going to some other planet or from population from other planet or other population from other planet coming to the Earth. In fact, there is no evidence of existence of any population beyond our planet Earth. So you cannot take migration as one of the components of population growth when you are talking about globally. The moment you come to part of Earth, let's say it is continent or any country or part of a country, let's say state, district, even if you are coming to the lowest level of enumeration of population, that is the Mauza, in Bengali we call Mauza, or the revenue village, or the ward of a municipality, or the municipality or corporation. In that context, you are having uh, the difference of birth and death as one of the primary component, and there comes the factor that is migration. It's not only the migration that has to be taken into account in addition to death and birth and death, but there has to be another component that is to be introduced while talking about the population growth. For example, you are talking, let's say, population of India. So in 2011, the total population of India was somewhere around 121 crore. Next census will take place in the year 2021, but in between, an international incident happened, event took place. That is the implementation of land boundary agreement between India and Bangladesh. As a result, we exchanged enclaves between India and Bangladesh. While exchanging enclaves between India and Bangladesh, what we did, we exchanged around 17,000 acres of land that was Indian land inside Bangladesh in the form of exclaves with around 7,000 acres of land of Bangladesh inside India in the form of enclaves. Now, the population used to reside inside India uh, that officially belonged to Bangladesh was somewhere around 17,000. And the population, Indian population, used to reside inside Bangladesh in Indian exclaves used to be somewhere around 34,000. Now you exchange area 7,000 acres of land in exchange of 17,000 acres of land. That means we lost around 10,000 acres of land to Bangladesh. In this process, we lost roughly 17,000 population also because the Bangladeshis resided inside India in the Bangladeshi enclaves were around 17,000, but Indians residing inside Bangladesh in Indian exclaves, roughly it was 34,000. So, in the process of land boundary agreement implementation, what happened? The Bangladesh, this is inside India, remained in India as Indian citizen, and the people who used to reside in Bangladesh, Indian people used to reside in Bangladesh, they were given choice to stay back in Bangladesh, or if they feel so, they can come to India. In this process, what happened? Only around 2,000 people who used to stay in Bangladesh, they came to India to be Indian citizen. So that means out of 34,000 Indian population residing in Bangladesh, only 2,000 population came to India, leaving behind around 32,000 population. So what happened? Actually, we lost 10,000 acres of land. Along with that, we lost around 32,000 of population. That means there are some incidents, some development happens where we lose area to the neighboring administrative unit. Sometimes we gain also. So with loss of area or loss gaining of area, we used to gain population or we used to lose population. That means you need to take into account the factor known as adjustment of area and adjustment of population. Along with the adjustment of area, you need to adjust population also. I have given you one international example between India and Bangladesh. Now come to adjustment of such things within the country. Uh, if you take interstate case, there is adjustment of area between Jharkhand and Bangladesh. Recently, in the 2011 census, uh, in the state of West Bengal, there is a district called Malda. Within Malda, you are having Kaliachok 2 block. So, in Kaliachok 2 block, there were villages in 2011, 2001 census, you'll be having villages such as Paranpur, Palasgachi, Hamidpur, Kakra, Kakribantha, Jhaubona, Kakri Bantha. These villages used to be part of Malda district. Now, in the 2011 census, around 17 such villages, revenue villages, have been shown in the census of Sahibganj district. The entire population as well as area have been shown in the uh, census of the Sahibganj district. In fact, actually, there is a problem of defining boundary between Jharkhand and West Bengal as the boundary is defined like this. The interstate boundary between Jharkhand or erstwhile Bihar and Bengal will follow the midway of main stream Ganga. In the process of shifting of Ganga river towards east by bank erosion, The mainstream Ganga also shifted eastward. As a result, many villages were emerged later on in the western area. And since these villages are now beyond the mainstream of Ganga, so Jharkhand government claims these villages, around 17 villages, to be part of their state. Now, among these 17 revenue villages, at least 14 villages are inhabited villages, and around four villages are either uninhabited or partially inhabited villages. So in this process, we lost roughly some 80,000 population to 80,000 population to the neighboring state of Jharkhand. Similarly, we can put example of inter-district problem also. So within West Bengal, again we are having example of shifting of or transferring of some villages between Murshidabad and Malda district. In the year 2083, around 14 revenue villages from Murshidabad were transferred to Malda district because those villages are located north side of mainstream Ganga near Dhulian. So, if those villages are connected or those villages are attached to Murshidabad, then the people will have difficulty of crossing Ganga for different kind of administrative work and services. These villages are having history of transferring between Malda and Murshidabad district several times. If you see the name of these villages, you will understand then that these villages used to be beyond Ganga River, mainstream Ganga River. From the name itself, it is indicated. The names are something like this: Par Shubhapur, Par Lalpur, Par Anuppur, like this. Par means beyond or across. So it used to be across Ganga from the point of view of Murshidabad. So along with transferring of these 14 villages, out of 14 villages, 12 villages were inhabited and 2 villages were uninhabited. So along with transferring of these 14 villages, revenue villages, some population also transferred to Alda. That means the growth of population we are having in the growth of population we are having some additional population. So from the point of view of Malda district, you are having additional population because of additional gaining of area in 1983. So 1991 census, you are having some additional population which used to be in Murshidabad district. In case of Bihar and Jharkhand problem, the population which used to be part of Malda district in 2001 were transferred to Jharkhand district subsequently in 2011. So in this process, we lost some population. Now you come to further smaller unit. Let's say you are having a particular municipality. For example, let's say it is English Bazar municipality of Malda district. So English Bazar municipality of Malda district used to have 18 wards in the year 2000. No, sorry, 1990 till 1991 census. When 2001 census comes, the number of wards has become 25. Now, in the process of increasing these additional 7 wards, what has happened is that the area adjacent to English Bazar municipality has been incorporated into English Bazar municipality. Those area used to be belonging to Panchayat. So some of the surrounding area or adjacent area of Panchayat has been incorporated to English Bazar municipality. As a result, the English Bazar municipality has gained some geographical area. Along with this geographical area, certainly we have have gained population also for the municipality. So when you are calculating growth of population of English Bazar municipality between 1991 and 2001 census, the growth, if you the additional population is not only because of the difference between birth and death and migration, the component of additional area, gaining additional area, and as a result, gaining additional population from the panchayat area also has to be taken into consideration. That means when we are talking about population growth globally or world population, then it is only the difference between birth and death that has to be taken into consideration. But when you are coming to discuss about the population growth of any part of the world, then there is a possibility of migration. Certainly, there is a possibility of migration, and you have to take both in migration and out migration, and the difference has to be added to the population growth. In addition to that, you have to take into consideration also the component known as the adjustment of area and adjustment of population. So, hope that you have understood. Thank you. Thank you very much for listening.